So hello everyone, Myrmonden here. Welcome to my review of Darling In the Franxx episode 7. So it started out as a full filler feel to it, right? Like very much, oh, let's go to the beach, let's have cute girls doing cute stuff, touching each other, and have boys there at level. That's a very typical anime thing, and of course we all love the typical onsen or beach episode, right? Very anime. But it obviously turned out to this like very interesting backstory heavy episode. Even though it didn't give us that much clues, I am definitely, and I hope I have time for it next week, I'm gonna try to do some theory video about what they saw here, because they clearly have a lot of different like housing and books and so on. So it pretty much gave us the fundamental, how would I say it, what the premise, right? So the premise is, I would say generally that obviously this is Earth, and people have left because they destroyed the planet pretty much, so now they're living in this bubble house, the station, instead of being outside, right? And given the context what we saw, it seems to be around our time frame, so about now then, in the early 2000s, given the cars and so on, right? That's when like humanity died, or not didn't die, but humanity had to escape, right, and so on. So that's very, very important. And the one thing I also want to mention though, which is of course title of the video, is that I think Ichigo is gonna die. Okay, that's gonna be the first thing I talk about him before I get into the actual building and houses and so on, and then talking about the jokes in the end. Yeah, talking about the beach, the cute part will be in the end of the review. So anyway, I think Ichigo is gonna die because she's either the love interest in my book for Hiro. She is set up as, I would say, a much more real love for him than Zerotwo. Zerotwo is, I mean, she's best girl, you know, she's super cute and awesome and everything, but Zerotwo's love with him is very, you know, obsessive, right? It's very codependent. It's a lot of this like, you are mine, he belongs to me. Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of the crazy girl thing all the time, pretty much. And so far, there's been no actual, like, in my opinion, how I say, not emotional love, but kind of like intellectual love or something like that between him and Zero2. It's just like very, very boy, you know, teenage boy horniness, right? Which makes sense, but you know, it's a lot of that. But with Ichigo, it's more like, oh, you remember that time and the stars? And it's like, of course I remember, you're my best friend. And it's kind of in a bit, yeah. So they have a much more like, in a way, a relationship that's kind of like, this is probably someone he could marry and be happy with, right? The Zero2 is more like the crazy girl that you have a lot of sex with, and then she stabs you or something, and that is like, oh shit, she turned crazy, right? And that of course is the thing with Zero2. You pretty much expect her to, if she didn't figure out that Hiro had kissed Ichigo, but she almost told her, right? I should interrupt there. But you expect her to pretty much like kill them, right? Expect her to go cray and like stab them, you know, like yandere, and just go around and fixing that revenge, right? So Ichigo seems to be, to me at least, a much more like realistic end goal love for Hiro, right? But at the same time, the anime I don't really point in that direction, but I just feel like that. So from that, my guess that is she's gonna die instead. Yeah. So either she's gonna be his actual love. He's gonna, for some reason, you know, escape from the craziness of Zero2. He's awesome and everything, but you know, she has some kind of dark past that she obviously lied to him, and he's gonna, you know, diss her and go to Ichigo, his like first real love, or she's probably gonna get killed in some battle eventually. And I think it's very foreshadowed, because she's like, passion to me, Hero, you should look at me instead. And that was also really cute there. She's like, look at me, not this her. It was very cute. She's getting friends on again though, right? But in my opinion, I think that's definitely gonna lead to him not looking at her during battle, and then she will die, of course, getting injured, and then it's gonna think it's his fault. It probably will be his fault partially, and that's probably gonna trigger him for some new ability. So I think that she has like an enormous death flag on her since this part. I mean, it's like, look at me, Hero, focus on me, you know, fight with me in a team. And she's saying it obviously because she wants his love, but it looks like she's talking about the battle, right? And he's not gonna do that, and then she's gonna die. I think that's I think she is very, very high chance, highlight of dying. Absolutely, because it would make sense given what she wants, right? It would make sense as she will be removed from the love triangle, so it is for him to focus on Zero2, he has no choice. And thirdly, it will trigger some new power, right? It's like a classic, oh, you know, we need the power up here. And also we need some death scenes, right? They usually have to kill off people, right? So, yeah, I think she's gonna die. I think everything points to that. Probably, yeah. I think it's a lot of reasons why she's gonna die. So anyway, Ichigo's gonna die. Let's talk about the housing and the lore behind it. So I think it's very interesting. To me, when they went to the house and we saw the bus thing, so the house, but the town, I mean, before the house, I was like, that looks like Nier Automata to me. And I know I've heard the game a lot, but I mean, that looks exactly like Nier Automata when you land in the game after the first space or the flying battle, right? You land and get into that kind of like the grass field thing, where you're the first world moving around. It looks like that, right? With overground buses and so on. But I think it's important in a way, even though it also is very Japanese. It's very, that's kind of point here, is that tells us that it's our time frame, right? It tells us that those things and the books about love and so on and find later, and like child carriage, are all pretty much written today, right? It looks like a modern school in this setting, and so on. So that is very, very evidently pointing at that humanity got defeated or summoned those things with the magma things, or aliens arrived or whatever, during, I guess, the early 20, right now pretty much, 21st century, yeah, or possibly even the late 12th century, because it's almost kind of old. So something like that, yeah, like, oh, that's like old Japanese town that got destroyed like 2025 or something. That's how it kind of looks like. So they're kind of pointing at the Darling in the Franxx taking place quite shortly in the future, probably. Not necessarily, but kind of like that. And it's very sad. I think it's a very important scene where they're talking about, oh, Papa, they saved us all, and things like, man, that's a very foreshadowing that the Papa and probably created the whole shit, right? And they obviously indoctrinate all the kids to be like slaves, and now they're thinking that they're fighting for the Papa, and the Papa respects them, whatever, but they're just being used. They're not being useful, they're being used. I think that's a very important thing as well, and it definitely connects to the whole why is the world destroyed and so on. So it's a big thing about it. One thing though is kind of airy and freaky, which I haven't really figured out yet, is why is that house looking at the house they live in, and they're talking about that it's probably a model for our house. That seems really weird, and that might be something. Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't have any good answer to it. My general theory is that not that much of the world is left intact, probably. So they probably have this and few other places to compare to. They're like, man, this is how humans used to live. So let's build this thing, and that to me kind of leads to the papacy and so on. The Papa guys might not be humans, right? They might not understand how the humans used to live. So they just found like the nearest village to be like, okay, this is our former human village. Let's copy that. So that's maybe, yeah, I don't know, but definitely, I think I have a hard time seeing that is gonna be some kind of important thing later on, that they specifically have the house in that village too, or I mean, just a random house living in. There is a copy of it outside in the world. There's something fishy with that. Everything's illusion. I don't know, but it's gonna be something like that. I don't have a good theory about it, but I think generally that they don't understand how to like create a house for kids, right? And also, of course, she finds the book there that's about like child carriage. So that could be that house in itself was like some kind of orphanage or some kind of I don't know, hospital, or maybe kind of private hospital, something like that before, right? Basically a place where you take care of children, right? So they copied that thing from the past. They were like, okay, we need an orphanage house thing. Okay, let's take that thing that they had 100 years ago and let's just make it here. There's some connection here, definitely. But yeah, we don't know too much about it. I'm gonna rewatch it later, and if I have time, as I mentioned, another Hiro video more specifically about these things. I'm gonna look through the screens and looking at different houses and the books and so on. There's a lot of information there, hopefully. But if you find something, yeah. And otherwise, of course, we had the beach thing. Do we have some yaoi? Sorry, we have some yuri boss, have some yaoi. The kissing thing. It's a little weird though. It's cute in a way, and talk about kissing and docking and so on. But at the same time, it's like they have books, right? He knows about what stars are called and so on. So it feels like they should figure out something about love. And I have to say though, it's kind of funny and so on. And I mean, yeah, one thing that kind of bugs me and it's confusing is that they're staring at the girl's ass and titties, like, yeah, there's a nice plot on that girl. They're like, yeah, I like. And Gore's like, I'm a man too. I also like my, I like my plus size. And it's like, okay, all that is fun and is dandy and so on, but then they don't know what kissing is, or they don't know how to, you know, how to use their stuff right. It's like, this is kind of weird. Like, why would they be interested in a girl's, you know, behind, or a girl's breast or whatever, and at the same time they're like, oh, what to do with my thing down here? I don't understand. What the thing do? Like, they're old enough to, you know, try it out a bit, I would say, without needing a book, right? It's kind of weird. And also it's kind of inconsistent in a way. It feels like they should be less interested in the girls, as they don't know how anything works apparently, or they should be more interested in them and knowing how much they work. Yeah, so kind of like, it feels like they're kind of having the cake and also eating it, right? That bugs me a little bit. That it's kind of like, oh, they're all these kind of pervy guys, but they don't know anything about sex at all. And I don't mean in the kind of typical way that you have guys talking about, oh, sex and this and this and this, and they're actually organs. I'm talking about guys that have this kind of natural urges to be a little pervy, but they don't understand the urges at all and never tried out of them. And they also have this like really close relationship with the girls all the time. Like, why would they not try to kiss them or, you know, hug them or ask them for a date or something? It feels kind of weird that they never had gone anywhere with that. So I think that her finding the book though about like childbirth is gonna be interesting, because they probably would tell her in an educational way how to get kids rights. So she's like, oh, you have to do this thing. So that's interesting. That's gonna be the thing. But yeah, I think that as a summation here again, Ichigo probably will die. That's my review for episode 7. So I hope that's the review. So subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next week.